everybody. Welcome back to the Dunn family road trip on day 3. It's not really day 3. We're driving and we've done like 3 days worth of reading. So that's just how it works sometimes. Today we're studying Job chapter 39 and God keeps on. Now if you'll remember, in the past couple of chapters, Job wanted to spend the whole book wanting to get answers from God, but God shows up with some 77 questions.
He don't got to answer anybody.
No, God doesn't answer anybody. And so one of the things that's neat about this is that in the previous chapter, we noted how God was asking Job about questions about creation, like where the water comes from, where the snow comes from, where the foundations of the earth were laid, how the cosmos and the constellations of the stars were put in place. Well, Job obviously can't answer any of that. He said, okay, well, maybe these questions are a little bit too hard. So let's talk about things you know. And so God starts asking questions about specific animals that Job ought to know. Like, for instance, and I kind of geek out on this a little bit, like the ostrich. I made some notes.
That he can run up to 40 miles an hour.
He can run 40 miles per hour.
He can reach up to 8 feet.
He can, okay. Also, I noticed this, and this may not be politically correct, but in all of my notes, I talked about the ostrich as a she. She reaches this tall, she runs this fast. When you think of an ostrich,
it's a she.
It's a she.
So we actually...
So it's kind of like a ladybug as a girl?
Yeah, and they have long eyelashes. I think
the eyelashes totally mean...
She got a curvy body. So we have a stuffed animal ostrich, and her name is Big Booty Judy. And so
I don't know if we're allowed to tell you that, but that's true. That's true.
And so ostriches are totally girls.
Okay.
And no, he talks about her being a mama, right?
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. She lays eggs. She lays eggs. Okay.
But I like your question. It said, why did God make a bird that can't fly but can outrun a horse? I like to. I have to steal Dusty's Bible because his notes are very interesting and they're a little personal, but just the things that he wonders.
Okay. Hey, go ahead and hit the high points before you talk about me. Go ahead and just list out real quick the types of animals that Job is hearing about.
So in the first little section, he talks about goats and deer. Okay. The next section, 5 through 8, he talks about the wild donkey. 9 through 12, the wild ox. 13 through 18, the ostrich. 19 through 25-ish, the war horse. 26 through 30, the hawk and the eagle.
Okay, all right. So here's the deal. We've made a couple of just remarks on these passages. So Jenny's just going to walk through them because I don't remember them. I'm just going to drive and hopefully get us there and drink my coffee. And
these are really good nuggets.
Okay, go.
Okay. So from verse 1, God even watches over the hidden births of the wilderness creatures. He is the God who sees. I love it.
By the way, that was the first personal name given to God in the whole Bible. It was given in the book of Genesis by Hagar when she was like in the wilderness, and she called God the God who sees me.
I love that one.
Just a tidbit.
This world operates without my approval, and it will go on without me. Everything in the world is completely dependent on God, and so am I. We get some personal notes.
Yeah, because if goats can have babies out in the wilderness and they don't need my help, listen, nothing really needs my help. Truth of the matter is, if I go to be with the Lord tomorrow, everything I do in life, somebody else will take on eventually. Now that's kind of sad, but life does keep spinning. And, it's humbling that way. All right, go.
Verse 5, no man granted the wild donkey his freedom. Verse 6, my gracious God gives homes to his people even in the wilderness. The wilderness is lonely and scary, but with my Father, it can also be safe and homey. Verse 8, the donkey depends on the provision of God, not the barns of men.
Hello. Because what happened in the barns of Job?
They burned up.
All them animals got killed. So God's animals, they're okay.
Verse 9, the wild ox resists domestication. If Job can't rule over it, he certainly can't govern God's creation.
Hello.
God supervises the whole universe and makes sure that his creatures are cared for. See Psalm 145:16. Check that one out. We went and read it.
That was good.
Verse 21. The horse happily charges into battle. I like this comparison. Job has not rejoiced in his battles, which most of us probably don't. But if Job is inferior to the horse in this way, he must also be inferior to the horse's maker.
That's good.
That's right. If God provides for the needs of the wild goat and the crying baby eagles, then surely I can trust him to take care of me. And finally, who taught the birds how to migrate? Not Job and not man. I love all the insight into each and every animal that God talks about. So not only does Job not know all the answers to the big things, but he also doesn't know the answers to these specific things that really he should know a little more about.
And truthfully, like, what did Job own? He owned animals. He was a shepherd. He, obviously he employed shepherds because he was kind of a rich guy. But one thing he knew was animals. And God said, okay, let's take your strength area, animals. Let me give you some animal questions. And Job was like, I don't have any answers there either. And so Job's problem wasn't even in the lack of his intellect, his knowledge on his weak areas. He doesn't even have strength in his expertise areas. So we are inferior to God, and he deserves our trust. All right? That's all I got.
All right, friends. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.